Hello everybody, Aiden here, and welcome to another video on the Around the Slice Entertainment YouTube channel. So at the time of this recording, last night, Saturday, July 25th, the official Marvel/MCU panel took place in Hall H at San Diego Comic-Con 2026. So I am here quickly to hop on today just to give you guys my overall personal thoughts on all the major announcements/reveals from Kevin Feige and company and his crew there. But before we dive right into that, please, if you enjoy any of this type of content at all, please consider liking this video right now today and subscribing to the channel today as well, as we always have fun and interesting topics and coverage coming out around here on a weekly basis at this point in time. Let's see, coming up over this coming week, during this coming week, rather, I'm going to give you my thoughts, review, and discussion for the Avatar: Aang Last Airbender animated movie that is out on Paramount Plus right now, streaming currently. Next month, we have a new DCU TV series premiering in James Gunn's Lanterns. That will be a weekly fun coverage around here, so please make sure you're on board for all of that, plus more. To keep this simple, I'm just going to go in order of when and how these different things and topics and reveals and announcements and whatnot were discussed and talked about at the actual panel itself. So chronological order, obviously, to keep it in its most simplest terms for you guys. First, as of a few months ago, we already knew it was announced by Kevin Feige and Marvel at hand that Avengers Endgame was going to be returning to theaters on September 25th, a few months ahead of Avengers Doomsday. But the question I had, including many others from what I've seen and heard around the country and world, really was, how will this tie into Doomsday, if at all? Will it lead into anything, if at all? Will there be anything extra, such as bonuses, scenes, fun, cool stuff like that? Well, now they answered that question. So just a reaffirmation of the date, return to theaters on September 25th, but it will feature an exclusive look at Avengers Doomsday coming in December, obviously. Now, what does that mean? Because we got the trailer earlier this week, which I think was a very smart idea to handle that 5 days before the Hall H panel, so we can get the hype cycle going there. An exclusive look at Doomsday. I'm not expecting anything more than a 3 to 5 minute clip. I think it will be a major story clip, but I hope it doesn't reveal too much. I'm definitely going to see this in theaters because Endgame, obviously we know, came out in 2019. I didn't get into the MCU until late 2021. I absolutely love it to death now, even with the whole controversy of post-Endgame movies and the quantity over quality conversation. I agree with it's false, but I also think it's overhated a lot of times too. But that's neither here nor there. That's just my personal experience with the universe. I'm definitely going to go see Endgame. So in theaters, yeah. Now this is a big one. Ryan Gosling is officially bringing a little-known comic book character to life, as he has been officially cast as Ghost Rider in the MCU. Very, very interesting. Ryan Gosling obviously pulls a lot of gravity with any and every single performance that he's in. Most recently, Project Hail Mary earlier this year was absolutely incredible. For my money, it's one of, if not the best. First, it's a perfect 10 out of 10. It's one of, if not the best, alien sci-fi / buddy comedy movies, mixing several drama genres, in one. Now he's been cast as Ghost Rider, and the movie titled Ghost Rider right now, sure I'll get a subtitle maybe, will be released in 2028. We don't have an exact time frame in 2028, and we don't have an exact month in the year of 2028 rather, but a few announcements from now, we're going to talk about another major movie that I'm hyped out of my mind for, that we could get some rumblings about Ghost Rider's release date there. And this will be directed by Sean Levy. I have my concerns, as many others do. I'm not too big of a fan of his directorial and writing work in the MCU. His style is kind of not off-putting, but kind of weird to me. I'm curious about the directing and writing direction, but at the same time, I'm a little worried that it is Sean Levy. I think it was just an odd directorial choice, if I'm being honest. And I've heard that sentiment shared by many others as well on Twitter, Instagram, social media, and whatnot. Next, we all knew this was coming, but she was there just to confirm it. I'll get into my worries in a second. Haley Atwell will officially return as Peggy Carter in Doomsday in December, obviously, but I'm worried. Like, I'm hyped for Doomsday, like not hyped in my mind, like I have been a lot of other MCU projects in the past, but hyped nonetheless. I'd say on the scale of 1 to 10, I'm like at 8.5. I'm curious more than anything. But Peggy Carter, that brings me into my worry. I feel like, actually, I know for a fact they're relying on nostalgia too much. They're relying on the past more than the present and or future, really. I feel like, unfortunately, we're going backwards to go forwards, if that makes sense. We're bringing back all these characters. Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, not Captain America. That was made clear by Anthony Mackie. So, and now Haley Atwell as Peggy Carter. I want them to focus on the X-Men and other new young Avengers more than just bringing these old nostalgic characters back. So I'm really concerned and worried more so now with Haley Atwell returning as Peggy Carter specifically, that we are focusing on that nostalgia more than anything else, and will be their actual worthwhile story direction. I don't know. Next, these were shared on Twitter by the official Marvel Studios and Marvel Entertainment profiles/pages. We got a new poster for Doomsday, which is incredible. It features Dr. Doom front and center. I'm not going to show it on here because of potential copyright reasons, but please, and legal reasons, but please go check it out on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Google Images, however the hell you check it out, please go check it out, because I will admit, all these posters have been fire, in my opinion, in the sense that the marketing has been very clean, the marketing has been very smooth, and I think this poster featuring Dr. Doom himself was very conniving in the best way possible. I am a little skeptical of Dr. Doom. I agree with the sentiment that many others are having right now. Dr. Doom didn't have nearly the buildup that Thanos had. Thanos appeared in the MCU many moons ago, many movies before Infinity War specifically at hand, and Dr. Doom has just appeared. He doesn't have near the build-up in quote-unquote clout, if you will, that Thanos does, it seems, but the posters are getting me even more confident in Dr. Doom as a villain. Next, this is kind of cool. I feel like this is an underrated topic / discussion point / storyline, if you want to call it that, from the panel last night, and it's a minor little story beat, but something to keep in the back burner, if you will. Pedro Pascal, who played Reed Richards in last summer's Fantastic Four First Steps, revealed that Reed Richards and Dr. Doom have quote-unquote history in Doomsday, and even at one point were besties. They were best friends, his words, exact words. That's going to be very interesting on how the dynamic will work. We got a little quote-unquote peek, if you will, into the relationship between Dr. Doom and a big major player in this overall story and plot, and Reed Richards, obviously leader of the Fantastic Four. Next, this is the one I was alluding to when talking about Ghost Rider's release date. This one is my single most, by far, easily, bar none, hyped announcement from this entire panel at hand. We knew a Black Panther 3 was in development per Ryan Coogler over the last couple of years and Kevin Feige and whatnot, but now we have an official release date and some other details. Let's go over it quick. Black Panther 3 will officially release on December 15th, 2028, and David Johnson, I'm not too familiar with his work, but I've heard that he's an up and rising comer in the industry, will officially play T'Challa's son in the film, which means Letitia Rich Shuri will have to hand over the mantle to David Johnson's son of T'Challa. Now, I like the idea. I like Shuri more as a supporting character, and Letitia Wright's performance was fine, but I feel like she didn't deserve to be Black Panther. There was no real build up for that, and the role was too big for her own good, if that makes sense. So, and I'm really glad they're finally exploring T'Challa's son as the natural heir to the quote-unquote heir to the throne, if you will, because the post-credit scene in Wakanda Forever was great, but it didn't go anywhere. It didn't connect to anything. It hasn't even been touched on or hell even mentioned about the son and whatnot since then. So I'm really glad that they're finally wrapping that up. And obviously Black Panther 3. Now, how does this tie into Ghost Rider? This comes out December 15th, 2028. So December 2028, general sense, rather. Ghost Rider has to be the first post-Secret Wars movie, right? You would think that Ghost Rider, there's two options for Ghost Rider. February of 2028, because they love the Valentine's Day slot, such as Quantumania in the past, most recently a couple years ago, last year rather, about a year and a half ago now, with Captain America Brave New World, or we have May slot we saw for Thunderbolts. This is what I do since Black Panther 3, which, by the way, I'm sure it will get a subtitle like Wakanda Forever did in that sense. I think Black Panther 3 comes out in May, because that just feels like a summer vibe movie to me. May of 2028, and then 6 or 7 months later, you have Ryan Gosling's Ghost Rider debut, which will be great. Well, maybe not so, but you get the point. Next, this is just a little like tying up loose ends thing, if you will. Vision Quest, thank God, will finally end the Wanda's trilogy. Thank God, kind of a meaningless character at this point. The trilogy is WandaVision. Has aged very poorly, if you ask me. WandaVision lived off of number 1, the week-to-week theorizing with family and friends and fans and of the like. Number 2, though, most importantly, it was the first ever Disney Plus series. Everyone was hyped, 3 a.m. releases, all that fun stuff. It was in the early stages of Disney Plus and a new, quote-unquote, new era for the MCU, but it's aged poorly, if you ask me. Then Agatha All Along, I wasn't nearly as big as it as some other people were. It's like a solid 7.25, 7.5 for me. Like on the Letterboxd scale, I'd give it perfectly mediocre. 3 stars, maybe I could go to 3.5 out of 5 stars, but people were like 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Like, no, in my opinion, it got worse as it went along. First 2 episodes are best and just dipped from there. I feel like not a fan of the finale, which I know isn't a popular opinion. And then Vision Quest, which will end the Wanda trilogy. Again, thank God. What are we doing here? This is dumb. Like, this is a dumb MCU project. This is where I agree with the sentiment of Marvel's just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks at this point. Quantity over quality. This is so stupid. Vision Quest has been dead for literally real life years now, even more years in the canonically MCU. What are we doing here? No one gives a shit about Vision anymore. As a character, as a hero, as a whatever. Who cares? No one gives a shit. Move on. This is the thing. It's like the Black Widow treatment. If her own movie had come out right after Endgame, she died at Endgame in 2019 or early 2020 at the very least, it would have been great. I feel like Black Widow was underrated, but in 2021, that's 2 or 3 years too late. Like, can we get a prequel movie before that? And then this stupid prequel series, from what I understand about Vision, I don't care about Vision. I never really cared about Vision when he was quote unquote alive in the MCU either, but even more so now. I am sorry. This is dumb. I'm glad that it's tying a bow finally on the Wanda TV series, Disney Plus TV series, quote unquote trilogy, but what in the hell are we doing here? Mini rant over. Next, just who cares about it? Who gives a shit? Boring. Next, just like Haley Atwell, Ryan Reynolds will return as Deadpool in Doomsday. I'm mixed on this, guys, honestly. I'm not excited for that casting announcement. I'm not disappointed by that casting announcement. I'm more curious than anything because Deadpool, his movies, more so as a character himself, is obviously a very raunchy, upbeat, unique type dialogue, stylistic character. I will be interested to see how he interacts with other characters in Doomsday, but the curious part is, will he fit tonally with everything else? Is he a dark enough character to get dark when needed in Doomsday? I don't think so, but I'll be very curious to see if they think so. Last, but certainly not least, Nova will officially be a movie. Just quickly, Nova will officially be a movie, not a Disney Plus TV series like everyone was speculating would be the case over the last couple of weeks. Again, it's just like Ghost Rider, even lesser known from the comics, but we'll have to see how they're brought to movie form. To recap, here is the upcoming MCU movie slate for you guys in release date order. Obviously, in just a week and a half from now, we're going to be changed forever here. Spider-Man Brand New Day, July 31st, 2026. And then the second release of the year, Avengers Doomsday, December 18th, 2026. I have my own concerns, worries about nostalgia and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's a grand scale Avengers movie. And then past that, we have Avengers Secret Wars, December 17th, 2027. And then after that, we have Black Panther 3 of December 15th, 2028. And then Ghost Rider, unannounced specific release date, but year of 2028. I think we're looking at that year being May for Ghost Rider and then December of 2028 for Black Panther 3. And then an unannounced / undated, is that even a word? Unannounced / not dated X-Men movie. And that brings me to my overall thoughts and specifically, just for fun, final grade of Marvel's MCU Hall H San Diego Comic-Con 2026 panel. That's a mouthful to say. Panel regardless. This was a pretty solid panel. A lot of fun casting announcements. A lot of fun movie release date announcements. A lot of fun antics going on here and there. Easily my biggest and most frustrating disappointment is they didn't touch on the X-Men at all. No X-Men or mutant talk whatsoever. And that made me upset. I was very disappointed with that personally, if I'm being honest, selfishly speaking. Because post-Secret Wars, I want them personally to focus on the X-Men and mutants in a bigger light. If it's being called the Mutant Saga, which it is, then focus on them in a more grand scale. Stop going backwards to go forward and bring all these people back. We don't need that. Focus on the X-Men and mutants rather specifically at hand. I understand that maybe you can salvage and save some of that for D23, but it sounds like this was movie talk and D23 is going to be all about Disney Plus series next month, which, by the way, I will be covering that for you guys as well. Preview, recap, all that fun stuff. But in my opinion, Kevin Feige dropped the ball on not covering a post-Secret Wars world, of the X-Men and mutants like I wanted him to, but that brings me a final grade of a B+. Pretty solid, but one massive disappointment in the sense of no X-Men or mutant talk whatsoever. Once again, I'm giving Marvel's San Diego Comic-Con Hall H Panel 2026 a final letter grade of a B+. Just for fun, let me know down in the comments below, what would you give it? What are some missed opportunities that you thought Marvel could have touched on here like I did with the X-Men and mutants rather? What are your favorite, most hyped announcements? What are your biggest frustrations? I would love to interact with you. Please follow me personally on Twitter at @aweingartner13 /X at @aweingartner13 for any additional movie and or TV show thoughts, opinions, and discussions over there. I was live tweeting and live reacting to the panel last night. It was great. You could see my glimpse into initial reactions before this video last night. And yeah, thank you for the support as always. I will see you guys on the next one. This was a great event. Goodbye.